Welcome to GP Bullhound's Tech Thoughts. Today is the 2nd of July, and we're here with Inge Heydorn and Johan Roslund for our weekly market roundup. Today, they will be summarizing the first half of this year and talking about Facebook finally hitting the $1 trillion mark. Over to them.
Let's start with the market update. The market has been quite flattish this week, but we're seeing quite a lot of volatility underneath the surface, especially on Nasdaq. Just look at yesterday, you had reports coming out from Micron Wednesday, really good numbers, good guidance, and really good comments regarding capital intensity, which is good for our semi-capital equipment stocks. But Micron down 6%, most of the semi-capital equipment stocks down like 3% yesterday in a flat market. So it's a lot of moving variables inside of tech, while the general index is roughly flat. And that also takes me to a little bit of a summary of the first half of this year. It's been a very volatile year in terms of the underlying stocks, while the index has not been as volatile. And it's also been a little bit on standing on different legs at different times. It's like yesterday, you have really good news coming out in the industry, and that industry goes down. So it's been really, I would say, volatile and also very stochastic in that sense. It's no really sense in the short run on fundamentals and let's follow the fundamentals. But over a period of time, the fundamentals has been playing in. So that's really the first half. And it's also meant in terms of us that we have been forced to move around the risk in our portfolio quite a lot in order to cope with the different volatilities around. So that I would say it's a summary, and Nasdaq up 12.5 for the first half.
Interesting. And we had a large IPO this week that not many people have heard of in Europe, in the US, but in China, it's monumental because Didi, that went public on New York Stock Exchange, is like Uber in China. And what's interesting is that they have a very prominent list of investors. So it's both Tencent and Alibaba. And as you know, they are often backing competitors. So it's very seldom that they are on the same side in a company. They also have SoftBank, and also Apple invested $1 billion in this company. And behind me, this is pretty interesting because Didi has also developed a proprietary car just built for ride sharing together with BYD. What's interesting is that you have more leg space. You can also control the fan and entertainment system with your app as a passenger. So it's a pretty cool company. The market cap now is around $70 billion. It only popped 15% the first day, but given the climate now of IPOs, that's pretty reasonable. It's valued to 7 times revenue, so pretty much in line with Uber. But it will be interesting to follow this company.
No, it's another big tech IPO. I think it's probably the record number of IPOs in the first half of the year also. I didn't mention that in my comment, but it's been a massive number of new IPOs.
Another interesting news this week, especially for us that is owner of Facebook, is that they finally reached $1 trillion market cap. So it took them 17 years. They are founded in 2004. And you can see it took Microsoft and Apple here over 40 years. But Apple is now a $2 trillion company, and also Microsoft stepped over the $2 trillion mark pretty recently. But what spiked the price increase of Facebook was that the US court deemed that it's not proven by the state suing them that they are a monopoly. So they don't have to sell Instagram and WhatsApp, which was the claim there by the antitrust lawsuit. And it's also interesting to see what Facebook is focusing on now, because they're talking a lot about VR and AR. So it will be interesting to see there how they integrate that within Instagram. For example, you can try on clothes when you do Instagram shopping with AR. And also you will see a lot of news from the Oculus platform pretty soon. Any comments here, Inge? Still interesting company, even if it's $1 trillion right now.
Absolutely. And also interesting, if you look at pricing for doing commercials at YouTube, Amazon, and Facebook now on the retail side, it's up roughly 30-40% year over year. So we are seeing a massive inflation in prices also to be doing internet advertising for e-commerce firms. So they're really at the sweet spot for the moment. Strong e-commerce and strong pricing.
And valuation still only 20-25 times PE ratio if you deduct the cash that they have. So not expensive, even if it's about $1 trillion. And remember that last quarter, they increased revenue at almost 50%. And I think estimates this, the second quarter is 70% growth, of course, due to easy comparables last year when you had ad prices going down due to COVID, but still really good baseline growth from Facebook.
Yes, so that's the good news. The bad news, Intel delaying ships again. This time is the Sapphire chip that's delayed 1-2 quarters. It doesn't sound very much, but it is quite bad news due to the fact that they go into the data centers and the clients are preparing and designing in the Sapphire chip into the data center. So delaying things is really, really bad news for the whole chain. And good news for AMD, but really bad news again for Intel and their credibility in the marketplace. And so they changed the management, as you know, already in February, March, but it takes time to change and to turn the ship around, so to say. But so the bad news continues. And just a quick comment on the Micron results coming out Wednesday. Good numbers, good guidance, and everything like that, as I mentioned before. But one of the key things is that they now guiding for EUV production, which they have stated before that they will wait with until 2024 now, which is quite interesting because we know that the foundry side will be strong for ASML 21, 22, and 23. So getting help then 24 also makes even that year a safe year for ASML. So really good news, which is then surprising that the stock went down yesterday, but good news in terms of equipment spending for ASML.
And finally, maybe some updates around the performance of the fund.
Yes, the Global Technology Fund, the GP Bullhound Global Technology Fund was up 18.5% the first half of this year, whereas Nasdaq was up 12.5%. And our volatility was 40% below Nasdaq, so our Sharpe ratio looks really, really good. And the things that have benefited the fund really well is the same capital equipment names, but also DocuSign and a few other software names has contributed really well to our performance in the first half. We had a bad day yesterday then when semi-capital equipment came down, but in that sense, we're not worried at all. And we're looking forward to a really strong second half.
Great ending there. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you very much.